Hey everybody, this is the Sliders Review, and I'm here today to talk to you about why I'm uninterested in seeing Thor Love and Thunder. I kind of addressed this a little bit in some video I just put out. I don't even remember what video that really was. Maybe it was another Moon Knight video or something like that. But anyway, I was talking about like Disney baby humor and stuff. See, I only have two problems with this trailer or just the whole movie in general. My first main issue is I'm sick and tired of the Disney baby humor. I just seriously can't take it no more. Like, I really can't. Like, they're gone overboard with trying to be the next Josh Whedon and Jon Favreau, because that's what they did when they created this stuff. Well, when they did the Iron Man first movie, it was it was solid, it was cool, it was awesome. They had a lot of drama, a lot of depth, but then, that Tony Stark made a lot of quips. That was fine, you know what I'm saying? Because I remember one episode of the animated series where he was like that a long time ago, back in the 90s. Then Josh Whedon came around, and no. Then Jon Favreau made Iron Man 2, and that's when a little bit more of the potty humor came in. And so it was kind of weird, and a lot of people didn't like that. Then Josh Whedon came in for Avengers, and Josh Whedon just does what Josh Whedon does all the time. He makes baby humor into his like dramatic stuff. Like, and a lot of people laughed at that time, but now people like, we're kind of tired of laughing. But then Marvel ran with that. And they ran with that with every new project they have. Now, some projects they don't always do that, and it's a little bit more better humor. Better humor was Captain America and the Winter Soldier. There, it was just a drama, but they inserted little bits of humor in it that was fine. Like when Cap put the flash drive in the machine, the snap machine, and then he went to go back for it, and it was gone. And then we just see a Black Widow looking at him chewing bubblegum and making bubbles come out. That was fine because she stole the flash drive and let him know that, all while also getting a thing of gum. That was fine. And so, but then other people started bringing in more humor. They did it with the Spider-Man movies. Um, and then it came to Thor Ragnarok. Now, see, here's the thing about Thor. I don't know much of anything about Thor, the one from the comics. I know a bit more about the Norse god from mythology because of the Hercules, the Legendary Journey show. There, that Thor was a brute and a dumb one at that. And it depicted the Norse gods a whole lot better than what the MCU has been doing. And so it had a better Loki, who was more evil and sinister and everything. And they just did it better on that show because that show did their god mythology a whole lot better. So then the first Thor I ever seen was that Fantastic Four, the animated series. And he was voiced by a legendary actor, but his voice just didn't sound right for that role. But that was the first Thor I ever seen, and he was very serious. Then, I don't know which one I saw first. Either the first Thor movie or, oops, I knocked my camera over. Either the first Thor movie or that of Ultimate Avengers. Now, that Thor was serious, but he was humorous at the same time. He drank, he burped, he was a hippie, but when it came time to like throw down, he threw down. Second movie, he threw down a whole lot more. And so he wasn't humorous at all. So then I remember also seeing Hulk versus Thor, the anime movie, which is a great movie. That Thor in the entire movie was very serious. And so when I did see the MCU one, at first I did not like the first movie, only because I just didn't like it. But then many years passed and so many MCU movies have come out, I have learned to appreciate the crap out of the first movie now. I now see it for what it is. A bratish like prince who thinks he's all that and thinks he can beat everybody, only to be stricken down by his father and teach him a valuable lesson on how to be a true champion of mankind and that of a ruler. Sends him down to earth with no powers. He still has his strength and everything, but he doesn't have his hammer. And while that's going on, his brother's creating havoc elsewhere and stuff like that. It was a great, like, kind of like coming of age learning type movie for a person learning to be that of a hero. Then the second movie came around. Now, I remember when this came out, I liked the second one a whole lot more than the first one. It was not a great movie, but it was better than the first one. And it's a pretty okay movie. It's not terrible like everybody thinks it is and stuff. Because this is now after the Avengers, and he now knows not only what it is to be a hero, but to work on a team, and he knows that the world is a much larger place and needs protecting and stuff. We have our villains. He kind of reconciles a little bit with his snotty little brother. He loses his mom. He's learning things, not knowing that his dad is not even really there. And he's now becoming the Thor that everybody's knowing and loving, and stuff like that. And then we got Thor Ragnarok because the first two people didn't like. They decided, hey, let's just make this a goofy comedy, and they did. And that's all that was, a goofy comedy and everything. And so, in a way, that both made Thor better, and it also ruined him and other Marvel's movies to come, because people was just laughing their butts off, and while they was laughing, Kevin Feige was getting rich off this, which turned him into laughing at us because he's like, ha 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 ha, I'm making baby humor for you, but I'm getting rich off it, and you can't stop me and everything. And we can't stop him no more. Stuff, he's getting too big because he's making too much money off this humor, and you're still laughing. And so with that, then the Russos took back over doing like the Avengers movies, and they did something amazing. In Infinity War, they made Thor into a man. He still had humor, but it was not baby humor. And he made him into much a better character who has finally became that person his father wanted him to be. He understood that it takes more than just the power of a hammer to be that of a great man and a ruler and all this other stuff. That the power was always in him, and he didn't need no silly little hammer to do that. But he still needed a powerful weapon to, of course, defeat the main bad guy because he was just too powerful and stuff like that. But then Endgame came because people realized something. Okay, Thor is going to go off with the Guardians, and the Guardians is very much a humorous baby humor type movie, and so they had to change Thor once again to fit that mold and give him back his own movie because Taika Waititi is taking back over again with the Thor movie, so they had to make him into a goofball again in Endgame, and a goofball he was. They made him back into a baby and everything, and so now this is why this trailer is so humorous. Now I laughed. It's funny. Like the picture I'm showing you right now is hilarious, that scene. But that's the problem. All they want to do is give us humor. Now they will infuse an actual story in there, but how much of the humor will take it up? Because in the third movie, does anybody truly remember what Thor like really learned in the third movie? I know I don't, because I laughed the whole time. And that's the problem. That's why I fear going into this movie and stuff. I mean, look, he's already gave up Asgard to a woman, Valkyrie, he barely knows. She was an alcoholic when he met her. She was just a person who electrocuted people. Why does she get to be the new ruler of Asgard? Why he gets to fly around in outer space? He barely knows her. And not only that, but she abandoned her people when she failed in the mission. She's not a great ruler and everything. And then, so, like, of course he's gonna learn how to be that man again, but is he really? You know what I'm saying? And now comes the second reason why I don't particularly want to watch this movie. Natalie Portman. Now, calm down. I'm not toxic. It ain't gonna be that type of, like, video. See, I like Natalie Portman. I also like strong women. I also like superhero type women. I don't have a problem with her taking up the mantle of Thor, because one, it happened in the comics. Two, she looks amazing in this picture and everything. And the thing is, and then not only that, but they changed her character somewhat for the better, because, Jane's supposed to be a paramedic, and she got cancer in the comics. But in the movies, they decided to change that, mainly because of the Mary Jane Kristen Dunst type thing. See, she was nothing but the damsel in distress and love interest in all three Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies. As a result, she got tired of that and people started complaining, supporting her. So then next thing you know, a lot more love interests started helping their heroes, love interests out in the field. Gwen Stacy did this in the Amazing Spider-Man, which was fine, because she didn't overtake it. Ned and MJ did it in that third Spider-Man movie. That was kind of okay, but they kind of overdoing that. But for the most part, a lot more the love interests are less damsel in distress and more helping in the field. So they changed and made her a scientist, and they made her a good scientist. My only problem is there's too many scientists in the MCU. Now, why do I have a problem with her being Thor? I have a problem with her being in the MCU in general. See, she walked away. When the second Thor movie, they were supposed to have Patty Jenkins take over as director. She wanted to make it into a love movie. The people in the higher up said no, no, no. And Patty Jenkins got so pissy, she quit or got fired. I can't remember which one. Either she quit or she fired. This pissed off Natalie Portman. Why? Because she likes Patty Jenkins as a director and she wanted a female director because you know Hollywood has a lot of male directors. This pissed her off so much that she agreed to do the second movie, but she just said adios to the third and everything else after that. She was not in Avengers Endgame, despite people thinking she was. It was just a stand-in, and it was dialogue and footage from like older movies and stuff. But she was not in that movie. She said she like, you know, turned her head, put her nose up in the air, dusted off her shoulders, and she left. That to me was disrespect into a certain way. Now I can understand if the movie was not what you was expecting, like script rot, like when Michael Keaton left Batman Forever. He knew it was going to be completely dramatically different. I think Batman Forever is an okay movie, but it is not as great as the first two. It's better than the fourth, and it has some moments, but it was drastically different, and I don't blame him for leaving. Thor: The Dark Underworld was not that bad of a movie and stuff. And it actually had a pretty good premise. It just something was wrong with the execution. And so as a result, she decided, I'm just leaving. This is before they were going to go in the comedy route of the third movie. So nobody knew what they were going to do in the third movie. But she decided she was done and she was going to leave and everything. And now all of a sudden, she came back. It's kind of like, dude, you left us. All right, you left us Marvel fans. All right, you felt whatever reason was for you to leave was good enough, and you left, and you didn't care about us. We wanted to see how this was going to play it all out, but we never got a chance. And so now all of a sudden she comes back. Why? Think about it. One, you know they offered her a crap load of money. Two, she gets to play a superhero. And three, not to be rude, but she hasn't really starred in anything big in over about a decade. Think about it. And like I said before, you know, I like her. I think she's a good actress. I've seen her in a couple of stuff, you know, so I am a fan of her work, but I'm not a fan of her just walking off because they got rid of a director, stuff like that. When Hugo Weaving left, like, fine, whatever, bye, dude. You know what I'm saying? We got ourselves a new Red Skull. And he was cool. And so, but you know, if Hugo was to ever come back, I would be just as pissed off because he has shaded the MCU and everything. Mickey Rourke is another person, but his character is dead. But in an MCU, you just never know. So that kind of just bugs me about how, like, you know, this whole fourth Thor movie is too much humor. There's too much baby humor. And I don't like Natalie Portman coming back only because she left. It's like, if you're going to leave, stick to your convictions and leave. Now, it's different for that of like, you know, I understand if things not working out. The same thing kind of like that Maggie lady from The Walking Dead. I was okay with Maggie, the actress, leaving The Walking Dead because she had a good reason. She's been there since the second season and she doesn't get paid as much as the guys. The dude who plays Rick and Daryl. And because those two were there from the first, but she's been there since the second. And the fact that she gets paid less money is jacked up. And so she left, you know what I'm saying? She held her head up high and she left. She went to another show. It did not work out and she came back. She had no choice. And so I can respect that. But I can't respect Natalie Portman for doing what she did and stuff. Because it's completely different and stuff. And so that's the reasons why I'm just not looking forward. I'm not trying to be like a dude down there or nothing like that. But it's just kind of like I am done with the Marvel humor. I'm sick of it. The Marvel humor is the equivalent of a CW long-winded speech. And I'm tired of it. And I'm just not too happy when somebody leaves and all of a sudden they're like, hey, more money in a superhero costume. I'm back. You know what I'm saying? Alrighty. Well, I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.